Have you ever done something or gone somewhere on your own? You know, like, have you ever done, like, you've ever just said to yourself, hey, guess what? I'm hungry, right? So, you know, the normal response is like, maybe I could go and invite a friend to go to a restaurant, or like, you know, let's say like, hey, I'm gonna be doing, like, I'm gonna go shopping, should invite a friend. Like, have you ever just done those things alone? You know, because I was talking to someone, and a friend of mine, and they said that, well, they wanted to go and do an activity and like shopping or errand, like all that stuff, and they wanted to invite someone, and they didn't, like, you know, because they didn't want to go alone. And you know what? I think that is a great thing to have someone to do stuff with, you know. That's like the whole point. Like, oh my gosh, I need to go have a partner, or I need to go have like really like, you know, a best friend that will do everything with me and stuff like that. Like that's like amazing, like all those things. Like, yeah, that's a fantastic feeling and stuff, but like sometimes you just don't have that opportunity, you know. You don't have that, and it's difficult to sometimes do that. And the way that I look at it is like, think about it. Just think about it this way, right? Everybody's always so conscious about like, no, I need to do this or that, like I need to do these with people. Like, going to a restaurant should always be an activity that you do together, like all those things. Like, yes and no. If you really want to go eat someplace, then, you know, go ahead and eat. But if you're going there to have a hangout, then for sure, just say this, just call it a hangout with an activity in the background. But if you want to do something like I need to go eat and all that stuff, then do go to a restaurant on your own. And going back to what I was saying, that I look at it like, let's say you're going to travel someplace, right? A lot of people travel on their own. So let's say you're going to travel on your own, right? So when you're traveling on your own, you're more likely to do stuff on your own. Like, you're going to go out and go to a restaurant by yourself. You're going to go ahead and travel and explore different places on your own. And that's just it, right? So what is the difference, right? Hear me out. What is the difference between doing that alone, all of it, when you're traveling versus when you're at home? Can't you just do the thing that you do in traveling, where you feel like you want to explore a place, and then you're just exploring some place, and you're just going out on your own, right? Because there's going to be times when you don't have that person to kind of, you know, to drag around. I'm saying drag around, like not in a bad connotation, but like just like, you know, you want someone to always be like that partner for you, like that, someone that's always doing the same activities as you. But there's going to be times where you're going to have to do everything on your something on your own. And what are you going to do? You know, what are you going to do when that time arises? Are you going to just not do it? Right? Like, oh, well, they're not available, so I guess I don't do it. But isn't that the thing that you wanted to do? You know, I know that it's great to share an experience, but isn't that exactly what you wanted to do? You wanted to do that specific thing. So why not just do the thing that I said, that I hinted out, where if you treat it like you're traveling, just do it on your own. Imagine this, like, to make it very, very simple. Everywhere you're going is a traveling experience. You don't think about it, but it is a traveling experience. Yeah, you're living in the place for a long period of time, and you know every place, but it's still a traveling experience. You're still going away from the comfort of your home and your neighborhood to just travel someplace. You're going to the other side of town. That's still a traveling someplace, even though you know the place, but you know, you're traveling there. If they're not there, if your friends or your family or your close, like, you know, loved ones are not there to experience that with you, just go ahead and do it yourself, you know? And maybe that's like a safety issue and stuff like that. I get all those things, but like, if all of that is status quo, if all of that, you're going to a mall, safety, you're going to a mall, all of that is all the same. Just do it on your own, right? So, look, for example, for me, when I was, like, you know, in work, like, I was the first one. There's like, it was my first time at my workforce, right? I didn't know anybody and all that stuff, and I just kind of did my own thing, right? So like I kind of got to know my coworkers, but they had plans and stuff like that, and I wanted to just explore the town, like explore that area of town a bit, because that was the first time I've ever been to that area of town. So I just went alone. Literally, I went to a restaurant by myself and I just kind of ate there. And the place that I went to is a pho place, because again, pho is life. I'm not gonna joke with you. I will die on that hill. Pho is life. So I went there on my own, and it wasn't bad. Like, nobody really like look at you and like, oh my gosh, like they're eating alone. It's such a creeper. Like, creeper. I tried to say creeper and creepo at the same time, and there's just creeper. You know, it's turned out to be that way. But no one's really gonna look at you that way. You know, like what is the scare of it? What is preventing you from doing that? That people will find it like very odd. Like, no, there's gonna be times in your life where it's gonna happen, and that is a normal aspect of life. There will be times when, even if you have a partner, you will have to do things on your own. You know, like, hey, I'm busy, like, can you do this on your own? Sure, go ahead and you know, like, watch a movie and all that stuff. Like, that's fine. That's completely fine. It's not a whole thing. And I think that might be and I think that might be just a human experience. I can't really put it, like, again, I don't know the science around this. I'm just going through vibes at stuff. This is my experiences, you know. I'm just putting my experiences out there. I feel like it might be either just a human experience where everybody you want to have a social gathering and stuff like that. Or it could be a social thing, right? A societal thing where we've been programmed to always want company, or a social activity has to be done socially, right? So like, if you're going out and having, you know, a good time, you don't want to have a good time on your own. You want to have a good time with the people around you. Or it could be just overall a safety thing. As I said, there's multiple facets to it, right? But if, again, as I said, if it is fine and it's safe, you know, you just do it on your own. So like, for example, shopping. Like, yeah, you want that person to always carry your stuff. I know, right? I know that there's that thing like, oh, hey, like, I wanted to go shopping and stuff like that. I need someone to carry my stuff. Exactly the reason why you want to have that experience. But you also want someone to have that, like, you know, maybe they're going to be able to help you out, right? To have that second opinion. But if your reason to go there was to shop for for something, and let's say shopping is your decompression time, then yeah, for sure, go ahead and do it on your own, right? You don't have to have someone to be there. And that's where I'm kind of getting at, where there is going to be that there's an overlap, right? There's going to be an overlap in activity, where an activity that you want to do on your own sometimes will be overlapped by something that you want to do with other people. Like, for example, if you want to go out, and I love playing basketball, I love playing sports. If you want to go out and play basketball, you want to have friends to be around you, like that way you can play, like, you know, like with a whole group. But if you just want to have, like, you just want to play on your own, there is a concept of pickup basketball. You're just gonna be like, yo, what's up, like, can I play next, and stuff like that, and that's how you kind of make new friends and all that stuff. And it's definitely difficult, right? It is a difficult thing to go out there and be in the unknown, be vulnerable, and just making new friends like that. But you know, that is part of life, right? It's part of the experience where you have to do these things. Sometimes it is a necessary thing for you to do. And they exist. There is an overall structure that exists to facilitate, like, you know, a person going there by themselves. Like, again, pick up basketball, all those things. Like, you go to the gym, you just like play around and do whatever, and then you just kind of make friends. And we've lost that. We've lost the art. You know, when did we lose the art of just going out on our own and making new friends? Like, you've gone to new schools and you just kind of go there and just make new friends. You've done all those things. What happened? Like, did we just get old enough, or too old, where we don't do that anymore? Like for me, I still do it all the time. I go out and do things on my own. I go shopping on my own. I go eat at a restaurant on my own. Like just all those things. Why? Because it's a natural occurrence. It doesn't make you any less of a human being, or doesn't make you less of like, oh my gosh, you're a loser. Like it doesn't make you less than that. As I said before in a previous podcast, that you have to toss all that aside. Like that's not gonna crush your pride. That's not gonna crush your confidence. If you want to do something on your own, do something on your own. Like, and if someone says that, you know, you're that's just not a good thing. Why does that opinion matter? Why does it matter? It's a random person's opinion. Who cares? You're not gonna see them ever again. Who cares? And like, if you're having fun and enjoying the activity, go ahead and do it, right? So I do those things on my own. I go shopping on my own. Like I eat pho on my own, and like the people in the restaurant, they know me well. Like the place right beside my house, like I go there often on my own. I just like kind of just eat there. Like, you know, sometimes I will eat lunch there. If I'm working from home, I would just sometimes eat lunch there, you know, get some pho. And it's fun. It's fine. Like, you know, they have a menu they have seats for people by themselves. When I go to the office, there's a ramen place nearby, and I go there on my own. Like that's an amazing place. I love ramen. And just like, who cares? Like, who literally cares? I want to go eat there. If nobody wants to eat there, who cares? You know, normalize that. Normalize the fact that it's okay to do that. Right? But there are things that you don't want to, like, you don't want to do on your own. Like, you know, like for example, if you don't want to, like, what things can you not do on your own? Here's the thing. Even though I'm saying this, there are some things that I feel that is much better with people, right? That is overall much better with people. Like, for example, going to the movies, right? Because it is an entire ordeal, right? It is very expensive. I think the more expensive the activity is, the more you want to enjoy it with other people. Number one, you can split the cost if it's more expensive, right? So it's for sure, there are aspects of it, right? So like going to the movies, I think, is one of those activities you don't want to do on your own, because it is a very, very social activity. But however, hear me out. If you have someone like a friend of yours, we all have that friend, right? You don't lie to me. We all have that friend that just goes ahead and, like, when you're watching a movie and you're like silently just watching it, and they're like, yo, they did it. Yo, it's that one again. Yo, why do they do that thing? Hey, do you ever wonder if you would, like, you know, they just talk throughout the entire movie. Yeah, I know that happens. And I know that sucks but they're your friends, so go ahead and just, you know, appreciate that they're there with you. If you don't want that, then go ahead on your own, right? But paying $30 to $40 to just watch a movie, I would rather just wait and have the experience in my home for $18 or something, right? To just rent it or buy it at that point in the comfort of my own home, and having people around, or like having my dogs or my cats or whatever just be there, instead of going to the movies for $40-ish and then all you're doing there is watching a movie, because that is not a social activity. Watching a movie, you don't go there and just like go sit beside the next person and be like, yo, I love this movie. Like, you're not gonna say, I don't think anyone's ever done that. If anyone ever did that to you, they're not there to watch the movie. Let me just put it to you that way. If they're there and just talking to the people beside them the entire time the movie is going, you know that they're not there for the movie. So you just up and leave that stuff, all right? And one of the better things as well is going to coffee shops, right? This is one of my favorite activities ever, actually, is going to coffee shops. I would frequent New York City, like Manhattan, and I would go there and I would explore just different cafes and coffee shops. I'd want to go and do that stuff, right? Hiccups. Oh, hiccups. I would do that stuff. And actually, during the summertime, one of my favorite things to do in, like, right around my neighborhood is to just bike to the nearest coffee shop, and I would stay there for like maybe an hour and 30 minutes, and just, you know, just watch a video or something, maybe a couple of videos here and there, or do some work, right? Not specifically work for my firm. I don't do that. It's very, very secret information kind of thing, or not secret, like it's just information that I don't want to be released in public by accident kind of thing. So I tend to keep that in my home or in the office. But What I mean is that like I would go there and just do a bit of work. Like maybe I would write something, right? I would write a bit of my book or whatnot when I used to write. Or I would go there and just watch videos, just to people watch and stuff like that. People watching is such a fun thing, fun activity to do. But like these are activities that you can just go ahead and just be like on your own, right? So here's one thing, like when the pandemic, when like the big lockdown back like a couple of years ago was still a huge thing. Oftentimes I would not want to stay inside my house, right? I would not, because I've been there for so long, and I think it's called like cabin fever. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but I would want to go somewhere and have a different scenery, right? I would have a different scenery because I don't want to have the same thing to look at over and over again. So I would go out and do other things, right? And I would have a different scenery. So those are things that you can do by yourself, and they don't need to have people around you, right? So there's actually one thing, and this is where going and doing stuff on your own can really lead to something that's serendipitous, where you would just meet random people if they're courageous enough to talk to you. So I was in a coffee shop. I don't know whether it was, hold on. I don't know whether it was Starbucks or another local coffee shop, but I was sitting there on my own. I was reading a book, and I was also well, I was reading, but I like to do more than one thing. So I was reading and also listening to the audiobook of the same book. That's what I like to do. And I was just there sitting, and I was drinking my coffee and whatnot, and then this one lady came up to me and was like, "That's a really cool book. Like, what is it about?" And as they were cleaning the tables, like, you know, they usually clean the tables around. So I just chatted with them for a good like 10 minutes or so. And that's like one of those things where you can just meet new people. Like nothing ever came out of that conversation, but imagine like if you did that and, you know, they were nice enough and you were a regular at the location, maybe you can start meeting new people. And this is how you start meeting new people, right? It's to be a regular at a certain location and become familiarized with them, with the people around, and having, you know, having that kind of conversations and having those kind of experiences with them. So that's the difference between going by yourself versus going with a group of people, because you've now like you're now formed, like you've formed your own group, and no one really wants to kind of interfere with like a group activity. But if you're alone, it's easier to approach you. It's not as intimidating, because if they want to approach someone that's alone, it's so much better than approaching someone that's with multiple different people. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Really, it's not, if it's a danger, for sure, don't do it if it's a danger. But if it's completely safe and it is a nice experience for you to have, go out there and just do things on your own. I think it's a very valuable experience and skill set to have. So yeah, that's it. Bye.